Welcome to the Journey Podcast, the podcast that's all about you. The podcast that interviews interesting guests and listens to their journeys of where they've been, where they are now, and where they are going. And welcome to the Journey Podcast. Today, we are speaking with Alex Desberg. He's with Ohionet, voice over IP company, but Alex is always so much more to Alex than what he does. Alex is just a really great person to hang around with. I've had the awesome opportunity to hike to the national park with him, spend just a lot of time with him, and has really become friends with Alex. So just enjoy having him here on the Journey Podcast. And Alex, of all people, has definitely been on a journey to get where he is today. So Alex, thanks so much for being with us on the Journey Podcast today.
Oh, Nate, it's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's awesome. So tell us about Ohionet and what it is that you guys do.
Well, since we're on the topic of journey, it really has been. So Ohionet is an interesting organization. It actually stems from 120 plus year old telephone company in Wayne County, Ohio. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So it's a family organization, family owned. I'm not a family member, but sometimes.
Are you adopted in?
I am not adopted in. They weren't adopting when I got hired. But in 1899, the great grandfather of our president started the organization because there was no telephone company where they were. And at that time, American Telephone and Telegraph had no plans to come to where they were. So they incorporated a telephone company. And it has been an interesting bit of history. So they were we can say just a telephone company for a very long time until the advent of essentially the internet. So I joined them shortly after they incorporated BrightNet and Ohionet, and they were a dial-up internet provider. And I helped them with their first marketing. And since then, it has been a match that I'm very happy with, and majority of my career.
Well, that's awesome. And I wonder, because knowing what Wayne County, Ohio looks like today, some of our listeners may have no idea where that is. Somewhere on the south side of Cleveland, the southwest side of Cleveland there.
Sure.
I'm a little bit more of a rural community where you guys are based out of, but really a leading technology company for the time out there, really a forward vision, even in the telephone space. And then even today with what you guys do.
Sure. So, I like to refer to it as one of the best little wired rural towns there is, simply because we have in town, there is fiber to the home. We are the cable TV company there. Obviously the telephone company and internet service, but Ohionet, what they are today and what they've grown up to be, which is, and we'll get into the voice over IP, the phone side of it, but what they are today has really allowed them to grow far beyond that rural telephone company initial incorporation.
So if anybody's looking to move from the West Coast out to Ohio, definitely going to check out the Doylestown market there for the best little connected community, at least in Northern Ohio, correct? If not,
I like to think
Northeast. So you've been with the company a number of years, and you've come into your role today. Tell us what your role is and that brief journey through Ohionet to where you are now.
Sure. So today I am the marketing and sales director. So everything that is business oriented or marketing oriented is within my wheelhouse. But that means I've also grown and learned a lot. So when I originally joined the company, it was really on the marketing side, learning how to market technology that was not common knowledge. People didn't really know about dial-up internet. And then when broadband came about, we had to reinvent our marketing. And then, the most recent iteration, which is strictly voice over IP for business and fiber services that are larger than your broadband internet connection. That is our marketing message today, and what we what we present to the audience that I work with specifically.
Yeah, and that's really neat. You bring a lot of experience to the table with what you do, because I'm sure that there's probably some people, I don't know, I can't speak for your staff, but definitely for our audience, who have really no experience with dial-up and those types of iterations of it. I've unfortunately or unfortunately have been in it long enough and worked in the rural market enough that I know the pain points of it, and so glad to leave it in the past.
Sure.
So you definitely bring a lot of experience to the table. So through this time that you've been with Ohionet, what's the thing about this venture with Ohionet that maybe you didn't expect to happen?
That's an excellent question. So the unexpected is usually customer driven. It is questions that come up in the process of helping an organization. And when they say, well, is it possible that we could do this? And whatever this might be, sometimes is the culmination of some very interesting product line. Well before the term hybrid for work from home was used, we had a number of companies that got rid of their brick and mortar and went virtual. And I'm not talking in the last couple of years. I'm talking 10 and 12 years ago. They were planning on doing this so that they were no longer married to an office or a brick and mortar facility. And really was sort of some of the beginning of the hosted and cloud-based voice over IP products that we have today. So it's demand driven. You have to listen to the market. You have to pay attention to what's going on. And it's good to be cutting edge. I don't know about bleeding edge. Let some people,
don't hurt yourself.
Right, exactly. Let it become a little more common practice or a solid product line, and then release that to the general audience that we work with. There are plenty of people out there cutting their teeth on new technology, and let's see what they come up with, and let them make some mistakes or discoveries, and we'll benefit from that, and we present that to our clients.
So maybe some experience speaking there from you're in
just a bit
a telephone company from 1899 who knows a little bit more. There's some experience there. So
yeah.
So tell us more about voice over IP phone systems. Maybe there's members of our audience like, I don't know what that is. They might have one on their desk, but they don't even know that. So explain that to us a little bit more.
Right. So if you're working with a company who is doing it well, you don't know the difference between voice over IP and a traditional phone system that maybe you've had for decades in a business. The fact that you have a phone on your desk that works like a phone, and your internal customers, your external customers don't realize the difference of how you're speaking to them. That's the goal. So whether that truly is a piece of hardware on your desk or a software load on your laptop that works like a phone or an app that's built into your cell phone, we want you to be able to, as a business, communicate with your clientele, communicate internally with your other coworkers, and have that seamless, I'm on my cell phone, sorry, I can't transfer you or anything. We want that full experience to happen no matter where you are. And when that happens, we know we've done our job successfully.
Wow. And it's pretty neat technology. Now you can connect that all together. But I'm sure that you get some strange questions or maybe strange assumptions about what you do. So What do you think is the common myth about what you do with voice over IP?
I think the common myth is there's a couple of them. So let me pick out two.
We might not have enough time.
I gotcha. So I'm going to pick out two. One is, once you go to voice over IP, you are provided so much freedom in terms of where you can move your phone services, either physically or on different devices. So that means if you have to move facilities, if you lease a new office, if you are already on voice over IP or you're using it as part of your transition, at that point, all you have to do is take your device, whether it be a phone on a desk or a laptop, with you, plug it into the new network that you're going to be at the new office, and you're back and running. So often that process of businesses growing, shrinking, or moving is the impetus to go with voice over IP, because they don't have to maintain an old phone system anymore. They don't have to wire for it. and they don't have to pay somebody to maintain it on a third-party basis.
Well, you make it sound easy.
If it isn't easy, then we have an issue.
So, what would you say is the biggest challenge that you're facing right now, 2022? And how are you tackling that? How are you?
It's actually not a technology challenge. The challenge right now, and just because of where we are and how our industry is moving along, is logistics. So right now we are seeing, because of what's going on the coasts in shipping, we're seeing a shortage of hardware for voice over IP phones. So that is really one of our challenges, is making sure that we have enough hardware and we have the right resources to get phones where we need them for clients.
So do you think from an industry standpoint that there's going to be a forced shift to more software-based phones then?
We're seeing a little of that now, but I think what's going to happen is once logistics gets the log jam taken care of, we're going to see a flood back into the market of hardware becoming a little more affordable. Right now, we see prices rising simply because because of the scarcity. But in terms of services, absolutely, deploying on soft phones, on computers and mobile devices, it's super easy. It's not a configuration problem, and most every platform, whether it be Windows, Apple, or Linux for that matter, we have software for all of those platforms.
Wow, that's awesome. So you have something for everybody. So what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned over your career so far?
Just
a real easy question, right?
Learned a lot of lessons throughout my
career.
But
most important question, Alex.
Most important question is listen. Our customers and the partners that work with us tell us what they're looking for and tell us the direction that they want to go. And as long as we are listening and paying attention to the pulse of our industry, then we're headed in the right direction. As soon as we start dictating or being closed-minded about opportunities or options, then we're in trouble. And I don't ever want to be in that position. Keeping our ears open and listening to the customer probably is key.
So if I can summarize from the phone guy, can we call you the phone guy?
For this call, yeah.
Okay.
This session.
For the summarize, the most important lesson you've learned in your career as a phone man is listen. Use the technology that you have and listen. So in your opinion, as the sales and marketing director, what do you think is the most important personality strength for a person to have to do what you do every single day?
That's an excellent question. I believe you're making me think now. I would say that the most important personality trait is
we have stumped the sound.
I know guy. You might even have to edit this out because I'm going to say that most important is to be adaptable, to be ready for change, and not let that set us back, because change happens. And if you can't adjust to change, if you can't adjust to what's needed from you as an organization, it becomes hard to do your job. So I think change is great. Sometimes it's good change or a bad change, but it all teaches you something.
Well, I don't think we need to edit anything there.
Okay. All right, I'm good with that then.
You're doing great. We really, on the Journey podcast, we don't do editing. It's just straight through. So
excellent.
So what is one piece of advice you'd give to somebody starting out as a sales and marketing director?
You don't get to start out as a sales and marketing director.
Oh man.
You usually have to work your way up to it. But advice is, it's the same advice. Be adaptable, listen, learn, I mean, I think that those are
That's
the
great.
traits that move you along. Technology will change. Being prepared for change, I think, is huge. Um, and again, your customers will tell you what they want. So those two things will probably get you the farthest. Everything else is can be learned. Technology changes, so whatever you learn today, you'll have to relearn tomorrow.
Mm. So you've learned all this stuff. You've learned to be adaptable. You've learned to listen.
Mhm.
But do you have a mentor? Did you have a mentor that really like helped you get on this path that you are on now?
Um, uh, yeah, but I would say that my mentor is digital information. I am a voracious
Mm.
reader, but by reading I mean listening to books on tape or on Audible. And I like to consume a lot of information, whether it be individuals, professionals talking about technology or processes for marketing and sales, or voice of the customer, or you name it. The more you can read, the more you can learn, the better off you're going to assimilate that information and see other points or other ways to grow your career.
Wow, that's awesome. So is this what you wanted to do when you grew up? You wanted to
Nope,
be a sales and marketing director for
not at
voice
all.
over IP?
Not a bit. I was going to be a veterinarian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and that was not to be. Love animals, love all that. Realized laboratory and and all of that was not my place. My place is people.
So were you going to be small animals or big animals or everything in between?
Never really got far enough along to know, but when I was a kid, I knew, boy, I was going to be a veterinarian. Um, and then that changed.
That well, that's kind of what brings us to where we're at.
Yeah.
But you say you've been in this field quite a number of years and
Mm.
bring a lot of experience to the table. And I'm sure that you have a couple of opinions that maybe not everybody else in your field agrees with. So
Mhm.
if we got a bunch of Alexes in the room or a bunch of sales and marketing directors of voice over IP, and
Right.
you would say that I have an opinion that just about everybody else at the table, they don't agree with me about, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I I probably run into this more than you would think, but I'm a big believer in, if there is a reason to change your technology, if there's a reason to upgrade, improve, whatever, do it. But if there's no real reason, updating technology for technology's sake, just so you have a better looking phone on your desk, or a whiz bang something on your computer, or a faster internet connection, even though you'd never be able to use it. Sometimes I advise people to do nothing.
Hmm.
Or, I've done plenty of telecom reviews for commercial and nonprofit organizations, and every once in a while I will tell them, pick up the phone and call your carrier and tell them you want a better price, but just keep exactly what you have, and I wouldn't change it.
Wow. So not always go for the sale on that.
Well,
So
yes, because if all I was looking for was a sale, I'd be giving a lot of bad advice, and that's bad reputation, and then that's not listening and learning.
absolutely. So you're a small company, small town,
Mm,
American company, sales and
mhm,
marketing director. You
mhm.
probably have a staff of 50, correct?
We're not even that big, so 25.
So,
So the
but
organization.
just in the sales and marketing department, there's 25 people.
See, now you're asking a loaded question. No, there are essentially three of us. So customer service, I see as part of my team because they interface with the customer a lot. And if you want to find out about our services, and you need somebody to come out and demonstrate or do or whatever, it's me. You'll see me on a sales call. So I am not sitting in the back office watching things happen. I'm out in the field doing it with partners like you.
So you end up wearing a lot of hats then. So you have to stay kind of up on things. And how do you stay productive with all of these responsibilities? What would you say is your biggest productivity hack for other business leaders?
That's excellent. Outsourcing and depending on good partners for things that I need. So when we talk about marketing, if I did all parts of our marketing, I wouldn't have time to do anything else. If I did all parts of our business development, I wouldn't have time for anything else. So cherry picking those things that I am at best at and finding other people who are good at the parts that I can outsource to them is probably a good challenge, for a small business, very important.
So you have a partner program that you are partnering with other businesses or professionals with. Talk to us a little bit about that. It sounds a little bit different than some other guests that we've had on the podcast here.
Well, so the interesting thing is we definitely, as a phone company, we know our lane. We know where we're supposed to stay. We are not a be all and do all for all clients. There are areas of IT, of networking, of technology that are not our strong suit. So why should we try and stretch ourselves to fill that need? So we find partners who are very good at those areas. So there are organizations that we look to for good internet connection where we can't provide it. We look to IT partners who do very good IT, whether it be managed service providers, whether it be server and desktop maintenance, whether it be network management, and we rely on them to do that for our clients or for their clients, and we're providing the phone service. So we definitely stay in our lane.
Yeah, that's definitely great, and it helps you with the lead generation. I can speak from ourselves, being one of your partners here at Astoria. We bring the leads to you and say, hey, we have a phone problem. We're not phone people. We're network and, server management professionals. That's what we do. And we can hand the phone off to you, and you work very well with us to make sure that we're compensated properly so that we're taken care of at the end of the day. And we maintain the relationship with the client still.
And it is a two-way street. So when I see opportunities that obviously are not brought to us by other partners, but that we come across, if the fit is correct for that partner, they should get the introduction and meet the customer.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit of the story between Alex and I is how we met is we had a mutual client, and that client said, hey, this guy's coming in. They do our phones. Can you sit in on this meeting? Because we're thinking about dropping them.
Right.
So I came into the meeting ready to pounce on this guy. And I have met probably one of the best partners we've had here at Astoria since. And walked away from the meeting and thought about it for a while. I called the client and I said, I think you need to keep these guys. I haven't found anybody doing a better job than them in this market since. And so that's my plug for Ohionet. And it really comes down to the relationship that Alex produces with his partners.
Well, but and I agree. So when you and I or any partner work together, that strengthens the relationship. It makes it very valuable to the client, to the end user. And only improves what they get from us combined.
Absolutely. So talking a little bit about these productivity hacks, like leveraging your referral partners, like other IT companies, what would you say is the best time of day for you to get work done?
Oh, so I've been asked about my process and how it goes. I actually am a huge user of multiple channels of business development. So there is everything. So my day usually begins with some time spent on LinkedIn. I prospect there. I reach out to partners like you, and usually by about 9 o'clock, when the rest of the world is getting to work, I usually have about an hour and a half in on that already. Okay. And then my day, one of the hats that we wear, obviously I'm a fireman. So overnight or during the weekends, fires break out and clients need attention and they need help with things. So obviously I'm helping with triage and making sure the tech support team is helping where they can, or if it's something that's outside of our area, mean, we get called about all sorts of things all the time, including, hey, my email isn't working. And we have to make sure that the client is directed to the right place and the right partner for that.
And absolutely is great to get a
Yeah.
jump on the day like
So
that.
that's usually the beginning of the day. And by the time noon rolls around, I'm into appointments in the afternoon. And I've been working virtual mostly for the last 2 years. And so I put a lot of miles on the car. Got a picked up a new car at the beginning of the year, and I think we're already at about 25 or 28,000 miles on it already. So
congratulations. Too bad they don't make frequent driver miles.
No doubt. I could use it.
Yeah. So what would you say is the most underrated tool that you use for your job every day?
Underrated?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Oh, no, I totally know the answer to that. And it's sitting right here. So my life is a little black book. So everything, all the notes, all the things that I do for clients, I probably go through one of these books every quarter. And it is chock filled with information that clients share with me that are important business initiatives that need to be taken care of. And I live and breathe my little black book.
I love it. So not an iPad. You're a pen and paper man.
Well, I mean, I have all that too, but when it comes down to it, written in my own handwriting, at my own speed, really helps things sink in and are able to be referred back to.
So this is a little bit of departure from the rest of the conversation here. But if you, Alex Desberg, could start a business tomorrow, what would that business be?
Say it again.
All right. If you, Alex Desberg, was going to start a business tomorrow, what would that business be? What would you do?
Because I love the sales process so much, and if you ask me, what are some of my best accomplishments, I would think that bringing people up through the sales process and turning them into excellent salespeople and business professionals, I would do that as a living. I would love to train, introduce, improve people's processes.
That's awesome. That's great. So maybe this is the same answer, but is there another occupation other than your own that you've always wanted to try?
Try, or that I've done and would do again?
I'll take either.
So two things. One, I've been a fireman, and that
a literal fireman, not a yes. Put out phone fires.
Right. No. So in college, I joined the fire department there because I was a volunteer during high school, and it actually helped me pay the way through college. And I was a professional fireman for a while I was going to school. And then when I met my wife, she said, not if we're going to have a family, and you can't do that anymore. And I agreed. So it wasn't that I didn't agree, but that was a lot of fun. It's very exciting. I have many friends in the fire service that continued their careers, and they've done well. So that's something that most people don't know about me. But the other thing that I'd love to do is I could have been a park ranger. I love the outdoors. Oh, you talked about us going on hikes before. I'm a backpacker, and I really enjoy that. So if that could be a retirement career, which I don't think it can be, I would do that.
Yeah, talking about that, an 80-year-old man who's hiking on the Appalachian Trail. Maybe that'll be Alex. So
so that's funny you say that. The oldest gentleman who finished the Appalachian Trail this year, I believe, was 87 years old.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So never know. Okay, a couple rapid fire questions here at the end, Alex. So
here we go.
You talked about reading. What are 3 books you would recommend to the audience, and why?
That's easy. So Traction, the EOS system for business, because it helps you lay out a plan for putting the right people in the right seats in your business. That's a good one. The 12-week year, which is a book that talks about accelerating your process so that you're not waiting on an annual basis to improve your business, but it happens every 12 weeks. And the third book is Rest. And I've just recently finished that one too, which is how to structure your downtime so it's productive and adds to the time that you are on task.
Wow, great books to check out there. Okay, next question. I'm starting a business today. What is one word of wisdom you would give me?
Do your homework. So if you are going into a specific field, find the people who have done it well and find the people who have done it poorly, and make yourself a do and a don't list.
Okay, great words of advice. So I've asked you a lot of questions, Alex, but what's one question you wish I would have asked you so far?
When's our next hike?
That's right. It's gonna have to be sometime. Well, we could probably do something here in February because I like to hike in the winter. So February, I love winter hiking. So let's do it. Let's
all right
about it. So all right.
We will.
So tell our listeners, now your listeners, Alex. So remind them who you are, where they can find you, website, social media. Where can they find you?
Absolutely. So I am Alex Desberg. I'm the sales and marketing director with Ohionet. You can find me at www.ohio.net, or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to make a connection with you. And you never know, you might get an invite to go on a nature hike for business.
All right. Yeah. Check out Ohionet at their website. They've got some great social media. You can learn more about voice over IP there. Thanks, Alex, for being on the Journey podcast and sharing your story with us. It's just a pleasure to get to know you better and talk to our listeners. Need some great voice over IP service. Check out Alex. He will definitely help you and point you in the right direction. Thanks, Alex,
Nate,
for being here. Thank you.
Absolutely.